Hey guys, it's Robert here for Pensare Basketball. This is a new YouTube channel specifically focused on thoughtful insights on the game of basketball and specifically on your Toronto Raptors. I'm here to break down quarters 2 through 4, the defense against the Portland Trailblazers. In last night's loss, the Toronto Raptors went on the road and lost to the Blazers. Probably one of the better offensive games the Raptors have played, but the defense was atrocious, and this has become a recurring theme over the last 6 games. I want to point to some numbers here, and then I'm going to break down some film for you, and I'm going to show you exactly what those numbers look like on the court. So in terms of net rating, the Raptors' best and worst game came against the exact same team. It was plus 31.7 in that win, the blowout win against the Celtics, and then it was negative 15.3 in the loss. Okay, in the win, the Toronto Raptors were missing Pascal Siakam. You remember that big game from Scottie Barnes. And in the loss, the Boston Celtics were missing their second best player in Jaylen Brown. It's a small sample size, it's 2 games. We're not building a case on 2 games. However, larger context. The Raptors' 3 worst defensive games in terms of defensive rating this year have come with Siakam back in the lineup. Against the Detroit Pistons, Portland Trailblazers last night, and then the first game back with Siakam, which was against the Brooklyn Nets. In those 3 games, respectively, the Raptors posted defensive ratings of 132.3, 125.5, and 123.4. If you check the numbers, that would make them the worst defense. It's up there for all-time worst defense, but it would definitely make them the worst defensive team in the league. So with Siakam out this season, the Raptors are 7-4, and they have been an above-average defense. With him back, they are actually 0-4, and they're the worst defense in the league. So one more thing. Rebounding is part of defense. The Raptors were one of the best rebounding teams in the NBA to start the season. They have posted a rebound percentage of less than 50% only 4 times this season. And the 4 times they did it was the losses against Brooklyn, Boston, Portland, and the win against Orlando. All 3 losses, Pascal Siakam was present. A positive defensive possession does not always result in a miss. And a negative defensive possession does not always result in a score. What I'm looking for here are breakdowns, lazy defense, fudged rotations, miscommunications that are resulting in open shots. Sometimes better offense just beats good defense. No one is going to hold an NBA team to 35 points in a game, all right? So it doesn't mean that because the team scored 85 points or 100 points that you had you had 50 breakdowns on defense. Teams are going to score. It's how they're scoring that is most concerning here, and that's what we're going to look at in this film. Okay, so let's get through this. I'm gonna stop the video if I need to point out anything specific. But for the most part, we're gonna let it roll a little bit. So here we're just gonna see Scottie with a good effort chasing McCollum, right? Svi, OG rotates, perfect. Now at this point, Norm is taking an off-balance shot. It's not perfect, but it's a good effort. So here we see Siakam coming back there. OG picks up Damian Lillard. Very strong contest by a very good defender who has a lot of length, and it forces an air ball. So here we see Scottie Barnes now on Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard was just dealing with length all night. So again, moves his legs, stays with him, hands up. It was great defense. I would argue that was not a foul. Scottie Barnes was obviously protesting that foul pretty hard. He picked up a technical, but I would think that was very good defense. All right, so you see Robert Covington set the pick here. Fred VanVleet is going to go around the Nurkic pick and recover. Now another sort of light pick there. Now here, there's a clear opening, right? There's two open shooters here. And you're gonna see Scottie Barnes chase past and contest on Norman Powell. Now, this is an important thing. When you close out a little bit out of control, especially when you have so much length over your defender, you should close out past the player. And how here, you're gonna see Norman fake Scottie out of his shoes. The right play, obviously, for Norman Powell here is to pass to CJ McCollum, who's wide open, but he's gonna take this shot. And you're gonna see Gary Trent make another contest, and the Raptors get the rebound. So here, another positive, nice ball pressure by Fred VanVleet. And here you're going to see Scottie Barnes pull out to CJ McCollum. And that length forces a miss. So here he's once again on CJ McCollum. The pick comes from Larry Nance Jr. Perfect switch. Siakam, he might be a shade low here. I think that's an open shot for Lillard or for McCollum if he wants it. Offers some resistance. I would argue not enough resistance, but here the threat of Scottie shading is going to force a bad pass and a turnover for the Portland Trailblazers, which is exactly why you apply ball pressure. So now here, this is transition defense. Okay, perfect. Siakam cuts off the lane to the basket, which is exactly what he was supposed to do there. And now OG Anunoby and Scottie Barnes make a very, very strong contest on the basket. Damian Lillard just makes a better shot. Now, this forces a switch, but the Raptors will happily take it. They've been going with Scottie on Dame Lillard all night. So Scottie, perfect stance, down low, ready to pounce. Right? Hands on his side, not hands out. It's good defensive stance. This is exactly what college coaches teach you. And I mean, Dame can hit that shot, but I would argue that Scottie makes a very strong contest on the basketball. Now here, a Nance screen is going to force a switch. Siakam, okay, gets beat, but recovers, gets beat again, but even though he got beat twice on that left-right, Scottie Barnes is going to offer just enough protection at the rim to make up for that breakdown, and it's going to result in a wild miss for Lillard, and Siakam gets the rebound. All right, so let's break down the negative defensive possessions. I'm looking for breakdowns, and I'm going to slow the video down if I need to show them. So let's get to it. So here, Banton starts out on the ball on Anthony Simons. Pascal closes out on balance, just completely gets blown by here. OG is late to rotate. Svi offers a little bit of resistance, but it's a little too late. And it's a wide open dunk. That was a big shot. Now here, Siakam is going to pressure on CJ, which I appreciate, but it's just, as you can see, that's nothing. I mean, you just chest bumped the guy, right? That's a foul. So, and here, once again, with his hands down, completely out of stance, and he's going to pick up a foul. He's going to try to do that body check thing. He does that all the time, and it's just a foul, and he's complaining about it, but it's a very clear foul. Now here, Fred cuts off Robert Covington. Siakam chases out to Lillard, and he's just going to foul him, right? You can't play defense with your hands like that, especially going on top of the ball. Yeah, that's Damian Lillard, right? Context is important. You're not pressuring a rookie guard here. You're pressuring one of the top 10 players in the NBA. So here, CJ McCollum is just going to get cut off by OG Anunoby. Now I want you to look at what Siakam did here, because Kem and OG had this play, right? So exactly at this point, Kem has shaded over, OG has cut off the driving lane, Fred is guarding his man, Gary's sort of in no man's land here, probably waiting for a leak out. But Siakam needs to rotate over to Robert Covington. He's late, he goes right past him, closes out, completely out of control, and Kem is going to come over, and all of this scrambling is going to result in Fred VanVleet trying to guard Yusuf Nurkic, which is going to result in 2 points plus the foul, plus the free throw. So now here, Fred VanVleet applying good ball pressure, Kem pressures up. You're going to see this a lot. And now Siakam, he puts pressure on Nurkic. And we're going to see this play from a couple of different angles. But right now, the right play here is for Kem to rotate over to Robert Covington. Instead, Pascal Siakam decides, okay, now I'm going to guard two people at once. This is a failed rotation. A lot of Siakam mistakes have been due to a lack of effort. This is due to a lack of understanding the schemes. And Kem's a little bit late. Siakam is over, and I want to just make sure that you understand that if this were two different players, if this was not Robert Covington, by the way, who's not Steph Curry and he's not Magic Johnson, so I don't know why you're closing out this way to this guy. I understand he's open, but a different team, especially in the playoffs, is going to exploit this miscommunication, and this guy Nurkic is going to go right down the lane for an open dunk or an alley-oop. So the way that they left him open here, it's a blessing. And perhaps a miracle, if you can just watch this play right here, that this did not result in an open dunk for Nurkic because he just didn't read it properly. Okay, now Gary gets pulled off. Right here, Kem needs to rotate up, and he doesn't do that, and it's going to result in an open three. So here, Gary Trent closes out. Fred VanVleet extends some ball pressure on Damian Lillard. And now Siakam is going to pick up CJ McCollum and just completely offers a blow by, right? So here, once again, you're going to see Khem Birch and Fred VanVleet, right? And now it leaves 4-on-3 somewhere else, all right? So now Siakam is left covering. He's sort of shading on Norm Powell, right? But the priority here is the ball. And he needs to close this gap, or because Gary Trent cannot leave CJ McCollum completely. So this is Siakam's rotation here. And so the real rotation here for a lot of fans who are watching, like, who is supposed to do what here? The correct rotation right now is for Kem to close out on Norman Powell and for Siakam to close off the paint. He doesn't do that, and it's a wide open layup. Okay. So here's Scottie Barnes, fight around the pick. So this is another Kem rotation. Fred VanVleet feels the need to cover for Kem, but this is Kem going under and then Kem not closing out hard enough. Let's break this down slowly. So Scottie Barnes recovers. So the minute Kem covers Scottie's man, Scottie has to rotate over. If Scottie can't get there right now, Pascal Siakam needs to close off the paint, and then Scottie needs to rotate over to the corner. Right now, for Larry Nance Jr., he doesn't do that. Instead, Khem Birch feels the need to do that. And I don't remember if that was a miss, but it was terrible defense. So here, Scottie putting some pressure on CJ McCollum. Another clear blow by for Siakam. And Birch gets the foul. Again, just offering zero resistance at this point. Okay, so Barnes does his job, forcing McCollum to give up the ball. But now here is just going to be a complete boneheaded foul by Siakam. Okay, so this is a rare possession where the Raptors have multiple breakdowns. So the first breakdown you're going to see is going to come from Gary Trent here. So right now, the correct read is for Gary Trent to go under and for Barnes to pick up CJ McCollum. That doesn't happen. Nance gets clear separation, which causes Gary Trent to scramble back. And OG is thinking about shading over, which is the right thing. And he gets caught off balance on Norm. Norm attacks right off the bounce. OG's out of bounds because of the initial breakdown. Gary Trent does not call out the pick, right? That Nance is setting on OG, which takes him out of the play, results in a wide open in that moment. Barnes closes out to CJ McCollum, gets past him, and it's a three. So I want you to watch that entire play and just focus on Pascal Siakam. Just focus on Siakam that whole play. I will say, in terms of infuriating plays, that's about as infuriating as it gets, because we know that the Raptors do give up corner threes, but the defensive scheme is to then aggressively close out, no chop feet, jumping at corner threes. The Raptors have led the league in blocked three-pointers for a reason, because they do this and that was just a lack of effort from Siakam. So here we're going to see another Pascal Siakam special. So Siakam is on Lillard, gets caught flat-footed. Lillard is 2 steps ahead of him in 3 steps. So Barnes shades over, which is what he should do. It deters Lillard. Lillard sees McCollum wide open. And this is exactly a late rotation by Siakam, right? Now Gary Trent's going to try to leave his man open, but it's not his man, right? Yeah, this one's a special one. Okay, so now here Fred VanVleet comes out. Great defense, Fred VanVleet, right? Now this is the first breakdown. VanVleet should rotate over to Larry Nance. He doesn't. Creates a breakdown. OG Anunoby. 3 defenders collapse. McCollum gets an open 3. So I want you to watch Siakam on that play to just see why he was late rotating. So just focus on Pascal Siakam. Sneaks around behind him. He's caught ball watching. And the Raptors are very lucky that was a miss, because that was a wide open 3 for a very good 3-point shooter. And now here, Gary Trent, aggressive defense, gets picked off. Siakam's going to cover over. Goes for the steal, which results in McCollum getting right to the rim. Now, even though that was a miss, that was terrible defense. So we're going to have one more. Lillard brings the ball up the court. Right. The game is right in the balance here. Right. 114, 111. You get a stop here. It's a 1-possession game. And obviously, the Portland Trailblazers do what they've been doing all night, and they exploit Pascal Siakam on the switch. And Siakam once again reaches on Lillard. Caught off balance. Good contest. Good recovery there. Once again caught with his hands down, out of position, out of stance, and then just offers no resistance. Allows Lillard to get his own rebound. Passes to McCollum. And now McCollum is going to take Gary Trent. 1, 2. Gary Trent jumps, gambles. And that was the game. So it's a limited sample size. It's 4 games. This was 3 quarters, right? It could be an off night. You can make that argument. You could say he's out of shape. Maybe he's not in game shape yet. I've seen a lot of this from Siakam over the last few years. A lot of lazy defense, a lot of gambling. The Raptors have a lot of positive defenders. They have a lot of defensive versatility. But this is also a very complicated defensive scheme, and it works on a string. And if one guy is the weak link, that guy can't play. But in this case, that weak link is your max player. You can't really bench him lest he demand a trade and you have locker room chemistry issues, etc. So this is sort of I don't know. It's something worth thinking about is what I'm saying, because as bad as Precious Achiuwa often is, and he gets lost a lot, there's a lot of effort on the part of Achiuwa. I will say that Precious Achiuwa has low basketball IQ on defense and offense. But one thing he does not cheat you on is effort. And what we saw here tonight was a lot of miscommunications, a lot of lazy defense, a lot of getting caught flat-footed, missed rotations, unaggressive closeouts. There's just and sometimes it was multiple times in the same play. It was different players. It was a little bit of Ken Birch. There was a little bit of Scottie Barnes. There was a little bit of Gary Trent. So I guess what I'm saying is this wasn't really happening for the first part of the season. It's been happening a lot over the last 5 games. There's a certain guy who's been back for 4 games of those 5 games. So the Raptors do not look right to me. This is about as bad as the defense has ever looked under Nick Nurse. And I think Pascal Siakam's a really big part of that. Hopefully he figures it out. But this is a defensive system that he should be used to. He's not a new player in the system. He's played under Nurse for now 3 years. He should know this system inside and out. And the fact that he's just not closing out, his body language, his effort, his motor on defense has been very suspect. Let me know what you think in the comments below. You think Pascal is going to figure it out? Do you think maybe he's just not interested in defense? Is there something else going on? Let us know. Hit the subscribe button, hit notifications, share this out there with people who you know are intelligent basketball fans who want to understand this game at a deeper level. Young players out there, I highly encourage you, do this for your own games. Do this for Raptor games. It really helps your understanding of the game, helps you develop a mind for reading passing situations, reading defenses, etc. So this really, I hope this helps you out there to see the game that we're watching on television a little bit slower, to see these things in live action. It's very difficult, but breaking down game film really helps. So again, if you haven't, hit the subscribe button, hit like, hit notifications. Let us know in the comments below. Let me know in the comments below if you think I'm crazy, if I'm overreacting to one game or a 4-game sample, or if there is actually something to this. Peace.